Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today we have a start collecting video for Mortevall's Helcourt, the brand new box for Flesh Eater Courts that has come out alongside Broken Realms Teclis. These box sets all are meant to represent particular battalions within the Broken Realms Teclis story, but I think they're a fantastic way to get you into a brand new army, and that's exactly what we're going to be using these videos for. So in this video we're going to look at what's exactly in the box, what it can do, and we're going to look at how we can expand that and give you a sample list at the end of 1,000 points on how we can build up this army to get it into some games of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. So let's get cracking into it and start looking at exactly what is in Mortevall's Helcourt. So for starters, we've got a really solid character choice. We have an Abhorrent Archregent. The Abhorrent Archregent has a really cool ability where he can summon some troops. So the 20 ghouls and the 3 crypt horrors, crypt flares, whatever you want them to be in the box set, because those 3 monsters at the back are a dual kit, can be summonable units from your hero here. This does mean that maybe you might need to be purchasing a few extra models to get the most out of the box set you're going to start with, because you're going to need some summoning on top of this, but it's a pretty cool thing you can have here. He's got a really interesting War Scroll spell as well, on top of the fact that he is a double caster and double dispeller, so he gets to cast 2 spells and dispel twice each turn, but his spell itself adds D3 attacks to a unit. This can be extremely powerful on everything from Crypt Ghouls, your basic frontline infantry, to Terrorgeists and all your heavy hitters in the army. On top of that, he's also got Imperial Blood as an ability, and which means he heals up to 3 wounds automatically each turn. This is just insane. It means he is extremely hard to put down. He's got 7 wounds, a 4-up save, and he's obviously got his death save after that of the 6+ because he's a hero and within range of himself, so he can be pretty tanky for a small foot hero. Now let's talk about those ghouls though. They are really honestly nothing to write home about. They're pretty basic sort of infantry, 2 attacks, 4s and 4s. They do get to reroll hit rolls for attacks, so long as they're within 8 an inch of any friendly Abhorrent units, so the Abhorrent Archregent for instance in this box set. And they also get to add 1 to the attacks characteristics if they have 20 or more models, so they're going to be getting a decent amount of attacks as well. This combined, so if you have a really large unit of ghouls, so if we add to this later, you can get potentially up to another 4 attacks on these. Suddenly 6 attacks at 4 and 4s, it's just weighted dice that's going to be doing damage here. The last unit we've got here, and what they're shown in the picture here as, is they're actually shown as the Crypt Horrors, which are the, I guess, non-flying versions. We've also got the potential to build them into Crypt Flares as well, which are a flying version, but Crypt Horror is the one they show here on the box set, which we're going to probably be looking at a little bit more just because that's what this box set is sort of leading us down with the battalion. So if you're going to want to use the battalion, you're going to need the Crypt Horrors in there. But the Crypt Horrors, they have a pretty decent stat line of 3 attacks, 4s, 3s, and damage 2. They've got no rend, but they can hit pretty hard. They've got 4 wounds apiece, and they can heal a wound to the unit as well. They've also got, any time they roll an unmodified wound roll for an attack with their club or septic talons, and it's a 6, they have a damage characteristic of 3 rather than 2, so they can spike up some damage pretty well. Their lack of rend is an issue, but once again, that Abhorrent Archregent, if he can get that plus D3 attacks onto them, they can really start putting in some work. But now that we've looked exactly what's in this box set, we're going to have a look and see how we can expand upon this. And so, where do we go to next? Well, my suggestion, after you pick up this box, you might as well go pick up a Start Collecting Flesh Eater Courts box as well. And this pretty much is going to give you everything in these 2 box sets that you need for a 1,000-point army to start with. So what it's going to give you is going to allow you to be playing with the Terrorgeist and the other character. You're going to have all the different variations of summonable troops you have, and you're going to have plenty of ghouls to fill your battle line, plus be some summoning as well. It's a really fantastic set of models between the 2 of them, and it's pretty much almost the entire Flesh Eater Courts range at that point. What's cool is that Terrorgeist kit does have a couple of builds you can choose from. You could either build a Zombie Dragon or a Terrorgeist, both with or without the Crypt the Ghoul King on the back of them. However, if you do choose to build him not on the back of the monsters, you can put him on foot and have a foot-mounted Ghoul King as well, which is another cool option. Now, the other thing I would suggest picking up is the Flesh Eater Courts Endless Spells. They've got some really great Endless Spells in their set. Chalice of Ursharan is almost a mainstay of 99% of Flesh Eater Courts list I've personally played against. It's always there, it does lots of work, and it's a really fun endless spell to use. The other 2 endless spells as well do some decent effects as well, like the Cadaverous Barricade, putting out some movement penalties to things near it. The last things I want to suggest though for the box sets that you might want to pick up is start thinking about maybe grabbing some more ghouls and another box of crypt horrors. And the reason I'm saying this is so the crypt ghouls, you can choose to build one of those models in that box set as a crypt ghast courtier, and that is a character level crypt ghoul. He's nothing too fancy, but you could do it. However, obviously you're going to be wasting a ton of ghouls doing that. I don't think that's the best way to do it. My personal suggestion is maybe go on eBay and try and find a singular ghoul model, or maybe one of the old ghouls, or a Strigoi vampire from back in Warhammer Fantasy days, and use that instead as your lone ghoul character. It's probably a much more, I guess, financially better way to do it, and you know, you're not having this unit of 19 ghouls just laying about. The other unit though, the Crypt Horror or Crypt Flayer box set, which is also Vargas, which are a vampiric unit, has the option to have both variations of Crypt Flayer and Crypt Horror as a courtier model as well. I'd suggest just picking up one box set, and you've got two of them you can build in courtiers, and you can add another one in to another unit or something down the line, but you're getting a lot more out of that box set if you do choose to do that instead. But that's really all there is for Flesh Eater Courts. Like, once you've got these sort of models, you've almost got the entire range of models, and you're just sort of doubling up on the things you're choosing to really like at that point. So let's start looking at a sample army list. Alright, and so here we have a little sample army list for some Flesh Eater Courts. It's 1,000 points on the nose, and we're going to be playing in the sub-faction called Gristlegore. Now, what Gristlegore gives us is it gives all our monsters, when they roll 6s that are unmodified to hit rolls, they make 2 hits instead of 1 with whatever that weapon is. So this is extremely great on our Abhorrent Ghoul King on Terrorgeist, as that bite there does 6 mortal wounds when it gets a hit, so this is going to be proccing a ton of mortal wounds and getting some more hits on that deadly weapon. We're also going to get the command ability Call to War, and we can use this when a friendly Gristlegore hero or Gristlegore monster that has not fallen in the phase is slain while wholly within 12 inch of an enemy friendly Gristlegore hero. They can pile in and fight. On top of that, we're also going to have the command trait, which allows our general here to fight at the start of the combat phase before anyone picks anything. And then we're also going to have the Garish Morshard, which does some little mortal wound and killing potential damage around our general. It's nothing really. But the big things here are that he's going to have the Gruesome Bite as our mount trait, which is going to allow him to reroll hit rolls for that bite. And then he's also going to have the spell Monstrous Vigor, which he can cast on himself to make himself count as if he's got 0 wounds on his monster's damage profile. Now, to top that off, we've got our Abhorrent Archregent in the list, and he's going to have the spell Spectral Host, which normally affects other units on the ground and allows them to have the fly keyword, but when you put it on a flying unit already, they get run and charge. So once again, we're going to put this on that Terrorgeist, and we're going to send that nuclear death missile into our opponent's lines to watch it wreak absolute havoc. There is not much that's going to be able to stand up to this big beastie. Because we've put so much into that Terrorgeist though, our battle line is pretty thin, and we've just got 2 units of 10 crypt ghouls. However, we've also taken the Chalice of Ursh this to make sure our Terrorgeist can keep on getting healed properly, even though he's got the spell on himself, Monstrous Vigor, to make it, I guess, so he seems as if he hasn't taken wounds. We don't actually want him to have wounds on him, so the Chalice of Ursh is there for that. We've also got the Cadaverous Barricade, which can help put in our opponent's lines when we cast it, and it can minus the movement, making things harder for them to run away from that Terrorgeist. We've then got an extra command point in there, and the reason for the extra command point in this list is extremely important. The terrain feature allows one of our heroes, the Abhorrent Archregent, to use his command ability to summon for free. Now, we're going to want to be getting all our summoned units on the table pretty early to really give us some bodies on the board with this army, so we've got an extra command point so that the Terrorgeist can also use hymns to summon on some monsters as well. He can summon on particular units as well on top of what our Abhorrent Archregent can do. So this is enabling us to get all our summoning happening on the turn. But this is a pretty simple list. It's literally charge up that Terrorgeist to the absolute maximum and throw him at your opponent and watch your opponent's army disappear. What do you think of the list? What do you think of the new Flesh Eater Courts box? Let us know in the comments down below. Well, thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our little community here at Sinful Gaming, you can do so by coming and joining our Discord server, which you'll find a link to in the description of the video. While you're on YouTube as well, go check out my featured channel section, which contains a bunch of other fantastic Age of Sigmar content creators doing everything from battle reports, tactical videos, lore videos, painting tutorials, and more besides that. Lastly though, we'd like to give a shout out to everyone who helps support the channel via Patreon and YouTube members. Thank you to James, AJC, JC, Christian Weir, Soren, Kenny Lowell, Outer and Shot First, Cowspawn, James Crowder and Andrew Bowen. Thank you all so much for your support. And if you'd like to help support the channel like these fine people do, you can do so by clicking once again on the links down in the description of the video to either YouTube members or Patreon. Thank you all for supporting the channel though, watching the content. Have a nice day, stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.